Harlequins make 5 changes to the starting team that played at Edinburgh last weekend. Club captain Danny Kerr returning to the starting lineup. He's joined in the back line by Tim Visser and Winston Stanley. Jamie Roberts has been rested. Harry Sloane ruled out for the rest of the season with a knee injury. In the forwards, Will Collier's named at tight head. Carl Sinclair picked up a knock to his arm last week. Charlie Matthews starts in the second row, replacing Sam Twomey, who sustained a foot injury against Edinburgh. The second row is undergoing surgery next week. Among the replacements, Mark Lambert will look to make his 200th appearance for the club. Chris Pennell is one of 2 changes to the starting lineup for Warriors' last Aviva Premiership clash as they prepare to battle Harlequins. Pennell made his comeback from injury last weekend in the European Challenge Cup against Brive, but is set to make his first league appearance of the season on the wing. Meanwhile, Ben Teo's named at inside centre for Warriors following his call-up to the 33-man England squad. Academy youngster Jamie Shilcock keeps his place at fullback after signing a first-team deal earlier in the week. He joins a back line that includes Johnny R, Ryan Lamb, Jackson Willison and Dean Hammond. In the packs, some very interesting matchups, but keep your eyes out especially for Marler and Robshaw, who will of course be plying their trade with England in the autumnal internationals that start up next weekend, although England's is in a fortnight's time. Val Rapava-Ruskin will make his 50th appearance this afternoon for the Worcester Warriors. In the backs, R against Kerr, Lamb against Evans, Teo against Stanley will be fascinating. Willison against Marchant, a very interesting one as well. Marlon Yard is back in the England lineup now, with Tim Visser returning for Scotland in the autumn internationals. Mike Brown has plenty of experience as opposed to his 19-year-old opponent Jamie Shilcock. In his first season, he has, of course, now just signed a first-team deal and is such an exciting prospect. Carl Hogg has really, really high aspirations for his young back line, and Shilcock is one of the spearheads of that. There is a spooky feel here down at the Stoop, of course, on the eve of Halloween. Just a couple of days to go until Halloween, and so some of the younger members of the crowd have been encouraged to jazz up their attire accordingly. And we are on the cusp of Movember as well, one of the most supported charities in the Aviva Premiership. So we await the arrival So we prepare now for the arrival of the 2 teams. Such is the nature of the table. A bonus point win this afternoon for Harlequins would move them up to 4th in the table, or could move them up to 5th in the table. But it'll be Worcester Warriors first out onto the Stoop turf here, led out by Phil Dowson. Chris Pennell making his way out for his first Aviva Premiership start of the season. A very big afternoon for him, and as we heard from his coach in the run-in to this fixture, so rare these days to have a one-club man. Ben Teo into the England squad. First season from Leinster, former Rugby League player of course as well, who won the NRL with the Rabbitohs. So the Worcester Warriors wearing their yellow and blue change strip. Harlequins in their 150th anniversary year make their way out onto the field of play, led by skipper Danny Kerr. Mike Brown and James Hall will go with him. Luke Wallace, part of that awesome back row of Robshaw, Wallace and James Chisholm. Jack Clifford still out injured at present. And it'll be Charlie Matthews making his first start of the season in the second row alongside James Horwell. Marlon Yard back in the England fray, looking to impress on the wing this afternoon as well. Marlon Yard lining up opposite Dean Hammond. Chris Pennell opposite Tim Visser. The referee, Luke Pearce, officiating his 55th game in the Aviva Premiership. Running the lines, Greg Garner and Roy Maybank. And it will be David Rose who is the TMO.
Okay, thanks Bob, time on.
So Ryan Lamb to get us underway, pushing the ball deep, and James Hall immediately calls for it, and the former Australian skipper collects well and swings around towards the edge of the 22. Luke Wallace straight over the ball, and Danny Kerr releases. He has several target runners there, Buchanan and Collier, looking for early touches on the ball. Once again down the short side this time as Collier looks to try and get across the gain line. Worcester renowned for all of the work they do in the loose. Carl Dixon spoke about that in the week in the preparation for this game. But it's Danny Kerr who has seen Dixon start the last 4 games, making his return here, who hoists that ball up into the air, and it's collected by Shilcock. So an early touch for the young fullback. And now Dowson, who has had the most carries in a Worcester shirt this season. It opens up a little, and it just sniping through when Ben Teo, first time we've seen him to run a goal, and it's Ryan Lamb with a drop goal attempt, dragged just wide. But immediately Worcester's intentions quite clear, looking to get some early points on the board and not allowing Harlequins to exit from their own half as well as they would have liked. We heard from John Kingston as it looks as though it might be taken quickly by Stanley. Little tap and go, and he has the support of Marlon Yard to drive over the ball. Chisholm was there as well. Danny Kerr releases. This is how Quins like to play their rugby, free, but it has seen them cede several tries in the last couple of weeks, and in fact seen them very erratic throughout the season. March it into the line. Hall, lovely hands to Robshaw, back inside. Great handling there from Harlequins. There's a foot in touch though, and it will be a line out on the far side as Danny Kerr flicks the ball effortlessly through to Nick Evans. Really slick handling here from the Quins back row. Robshaw there to Visser, back inside to Robshaw, and then a foot out from the former England skipper. So the first line out, we'll see. Worcester with the ball. They have a number of options in this lineup. Donker O'Callaghan, of course, the former Irish international, 94 caps to his name before he announced his retirement from international rugby, but it's his partner in crime in the second row, Darren Barry, who takes it, and the crash ball into midfield taken in, flicked out by Johnny R. Ryan Lamb floats it out wide, beautiful hands back inside from Dean Hammond to Shilcock, and there's Teo. Great handling from both sides so far. Carl Kerwin with his first real touch in the 22. Worcester looking very promising here. Rapava Ruskin making his 50th appearance for the Warriors, and flying off his wing, coming back inside comes Dean Hammond. Takes the crash ball, the defence standing strong at the moment, which will please John Kingston. A couple of missed tackles there, and Teo was able to twizzle round as Buchanan let go of him. Bregvadze scored on his last Premiership outing up against the Leicester Tigers at Welford Road 3 weeks ago. Hammond tried to get through. Visser intercepts. Visser half away, shrugs up one tackle. Tim Visser, could be a straight foot race. Visser will back himself. Shilcock with great pace, but flicks it inside to Danny Kerr, who will score under the posts. And against the run of play in the opening 5 minutes here, Harlequins have the first try thanks to the interception from Visser, and then unselfish play as he realised that Jamie Shilcock could outgun him on pace in the race for the line. An excellent support play coming from Danny Kerr, who goes over to score under the posts. Visser reading that pass from Hammond, shrugging off Chris Pennell, and then Shilcock had to put his head down and chase him towards the corner. Visser going for that corner, glances over his shoulder, realises that Shilcock has him, and unselfishly pops it back inside. A little bit of a grin from Danny Kerr, who knew he was in to score the opening try of the game. Skipper's second of this Aviva Premiership season, and it gives Harlequins the lead with just 4 minutes on the clock. Nick Evans hasn't been as metronomic from the kicking tee this season so far as most would expect him to be, but no trouble adding the extras there. So Harlequins leading by 7 points to 0. in the opening salvos here at the Stoop. And that'll be very frustrating for Carl Hogg and Worcester Warriors, who were encamped there in the Harlequins 22. The Ryan Lamb restart. Another steepling kick which will be put under real pressure, and Horwill's knocked it forward before. It's now going to be a penalty. So Luke Wallace taking a gamble, and Luke Pearce not being fooled by him at all. So the opportunity here for Shilcock to chip it down into the corner. Danny Kerr wanting to find out exactly what the penalty was for. It was James Horwill with the knock forward, put under really good pressure. It was an excellent restart from Ryan Lamb. There's the knock forward. Luke Wallace reacting and playing the ball from an offside position, and that's what resulted in the penalty. So Worcester Warriors have chipped it down into that corner, and Jadlat Bergvadze, the Georgian international, with his second line out of the game, goes towards the back of the line where it's collected well by Kerwin. Hasn't been used too frequently in the line out, Kerwin, but it's a good maul formed and they roll it forward. Harlequins have brought that down, so a penalty comes to Worcester Warriors, and this time from this sort of angle I would have thought Ryan Lamb will step in and go for the posts. In fact, it's going to be Jamie Shilcock who takes up the kicking duties. Both Ryan Lamb and Shilcock had attempts on goal in the warm-up. This side of the field of play does lend itself towards Shilcock. Left-footed player. It's been such an impressive step up to first 15 rugby from Jamie Shilcock. And that rise does not continue with kicking from the tee, and already we've had a couple of opportunities passed up by Worcester Warriors. A drop goal attempt from Ryan Lamb, sliding wide of the target, and now a penalty going wide as well. So in spite of having the majority of the territory so far in the opening exchanges here, still inside the first 10 minutes at the Stoop, it is Harlequins who lead by 7 points to 0. Nick Evans thuds one up towards halfway, where it's collected by Pennell, who collects both the ball and man, but he sets it well. Flicks it back into Kerwin, who's carried well so far with real purpose. Ryan Lamb was standing deep and hoists the up and under. Marlon Yard and Nick Evans both going for it, but in the end it's Dean Hammond who's come up with the ball, and the Worcester Warriors on the front foot once again. Rapava Ruskin drives round that fringe and carries play up towards the edge of the 22. Johnny Yard releases there, beautifully collected and driven forward by Kerwin. Fired out wide, and then Ryan Lamb wedges it through off the inside of his boot, and it trickles into touch around 6 or 7 metres shy of the Quins line. It will be a Harlequins throw-in, but they continue to be really put under a torrent of early pressure here by the Worcester Warriors.
Space. Space. No, space.
Buchanan picks out Horwill from the line out. Harlequins' most used jumper, and already his 33rd line out one so far this season, and a couple of line out steals as well in the mix. Danny Kerr with the box kick to clear Quins' lines, but only takes play just out of the 22, so Worcester Warriors will once again be very happy with their field position here, but they need to convert it into points.
Come on, let's go.
Luke Pearce would like this moved along. Bergvadze Couple of targets, one of them is a Callahan who collects that beautifully, and Aviva fires it out, and lovely line of running from Bentio bursts through, feeds back inside for the score, brilliantly rounded off from Jackson Willison, and they do have the points that their territory has threatened. Lovely move off the back of the line out. It was slick ball taken off the top of that line out from a Callahan, fed to Aviva, he then popped it out, and Johnny R found Bentio on a really good line. Bregvadze into Tio, he went through the tackle and then fed it back inside, on his shoulder Willison in support, and it's Jackson Willison in to score his first try in Worcester Warriors colours in the Aviva Premiership. This time Shilcock finds the target, and we are all square. And it is certainly no less than the Worcester Warriors have deserved after their opening here at the Stoop. Nick Evans gets us back underway. Ryan Lamb is the man who's marking that. Marlon Yard came flying up the middle after it. Harlequins now need to try and exert some pressure and get some field position of their own down in the Worcester half, because they have enjoyed no time whatsoever at this end of the field so far. Ball disrupted in the ruck, and it's Carl Cohen who has to go back and pick it up, but immediately coming through with Collier and Buchanan.
Worcester, use it.
Chisholm also there, and the ball is eventually cleared away by the Warriors, and that takes play just outside of their 22 in what has thus far been a very open game. The Quins crowd, who have lifted their side throughout this season at home. Horwell goes for it with one arm, in the end does manage to collect it. Chisholm manages to wriggle forward back up to the gain line. Now Danny Kerr has the ball at his feet, and it goes out to Robshaw. Luke Wallace very nearly getting in the way of that one, reaching for it. They have it back. Evans again, popped back inside for Joe Marchant for the first time to run with the ball in anger. Danny Kerr, lovely ball flicked back inside to Chris Robshaw. Kerr again, Evans called for a change in direction. Here's Marlon Yard, the Warriors defence not looking too stretched at present. Chisholm managed to find his man, and it went forward. And it will be our first set scrummage of this afternoon. It's taken over 12 minutes to get here. Oh, some lovely handling there between the two of the England players. Out the back of the hand there from Danny Kerr into Chris Robshaw. But here, Chisholm was really tricky for Buchanan to take, and it just went forward. Now, a big test for the Harlequins pack. They have a substantial deficit when it comes to weight. 43 kilos, the difference in the two packs. Worcester weighing in at 911, pack weight 868 for Quins. Carl Hogg there, the Worcester head coach, will be very pleased with the way that his side hit back after going behind early on. Rob Buchanan is the man receiving the treatment down there on the ground in his 5th season. Six starts from 7 Aviva Premiership matches this season for Rob Buchanan. So the first set scrummage, Johnny R waiting to get the ball in here. Really steady. There is no hook coming from the Worcester Warriors. Having to try and nudge that one forward. Didn't go forward. Quins held them, and as a consequence, Luke Pearce is going to reset the scrum. Needs to get control early on here. of the set scrummage, so it doesn't become to the detriment of this encounter.
Everybody.
Farapava Ruskin there on the near side, making his 50th appearance for the Worcester Warriors.
Set.
It's gone down very quickly on the near side. Dowson gets it out. Dean Hammond tries to run from deep. Advantage being played here for the Worcester Warriors. Ryan Lamb looks to clear. Mike Brown underneath it and decides that there is no real advantage coming the way of the Warriors, and they will come back, and it will be a penalty for Worcester that resulted from that scrum. So the man being penalised is Will Collier for going down at the near side.
On the halfway.
Harlequins not making the most of that particular foray into Worcester territory. Ryan Lamb puts one up onto the top of the IG stand here.
Absolutely, but three's got.
And it will be a line out just shy of the halfway line, with Worcester throwing the ball in.
On the line, Quins. On the line. On the line.
Brugvanse goes to the front of the line, where O'Callaghan claims it comfortably. The maul formed. It will be another penalty coming the way of Worcester as Harlequins take that down.
Yep, non-ball carrier, isn't it? Yeah.
Greg Garner,
Number 3.
very experienced himself. Will Collier, the man penalised for the second time in a row. Ryan Lamb has to come into the 15-metre line.
3.
So the concession of penalties proving very costly at the moment for Harlequins, as they find themselves back inside their own 22 once more. Proving to be yet another frustrating afternoon for their fans. They try and find the response. Brugvanse goes in, and the ball is well collected by Barry. Saliva flings it out towards Hammond. It's untidy ball. Ben Teo up against fellow England squad member Marlon Yard. Yard makes a tackle. So improved the defensive aspects of Marlon Yard's game over the last few years. Fully deserving of his recall. Nick Schoenert takes the ball into contact. Flicked out again. Ryan Lamb looks to get it to Saliva. Charlie Matthews was the man who was there making the tackle for Harlequins. Rapava Ruskin carried it forward. The ball's a little lost in there at the moment for Johnny R, and he took his eye off it but didn't knock forward. Ryan Lamb looks at his options, and Ben Teo runs over Dean Hammond. That was a bit of an obstruction. However, the referee, accidental or otherwise, should perhaps have blown up, but he plays on. Johnny R with a chance to stabilise things once more. Rapava Ruskin manages to get up towards that 10-metre line. Ryan Lamb collects well and now tries to push that one down towards the corner. Always looked as though it was a very heavy contact from the fly half, and proves to be the case as he puts it straight into touch. So they will come back for a Harlequins line out on around halfway.
Line's yours, Worcester. Line's yours.
Chris Pennell, the intended recipient of that one, unable to get in on the ball. The line out comes to Matthews. Danny Kerr shifts it quickly. Tim Visser crashes in to Ryan Lamb and takes the ball over halfway. Harlequins looking to recycle as quickly as possible. Get it out to Evans. Evans to Marchant. Marchant with those lovely dancing feet. Unable to evade the tackler on this occasion. Danny Kerr again. Matthews bludgeons his way up towards that gain line once more. Nick Evans keeping the ball in hand. Here's Stanley, lovely miss pass out wide, collected by the huge Tim Visser, chipped ahead. Wallace picks up, Wallace shrugs off one, can't get through the tackle of Shilcock. Complaint there that Visser was taken out, but they played on, and Harlequins still have the ball in hand. Marchant can't find his man, but Robshaw manages to pick it up and tidy up. Great play there from the blind side. Kerr to Evans, delays that pass to Horwell, perhaps too much, and it goes forward, and Worcester will find that they have the put in, but Tim Visser with some sublime skills. Stands 1.96 meters tall, which is probably the reason he was able to collect that pass from Stanley, nudged it off the outside of the boot, was unable to chase after it because he was half blocked, but it was picked up there by Luke Wallace, eventually brought to ground by Jamie Shilcock. Approaching the midpoint of this first half.
What's the 9? 9. Johnny.
So let's take a look at the two tries we've seen so far. Tim Visser, the man who made the interception and break, feeding it inside to Danny Kerr. And he scored on the post, but it was Ben Teo who created the second try. Beautiful offload from him after bursting through the line and setting it up for Jackson Willison. So 2 tries inside the opening 8 minutes here at the Stoop, both converted. We have had no other scores, but it's Worcester who have dominated the field position, although Harlequins have managed to get a bit of a foothold here in spite of a knock forward from James Horwell in midfield that has led to this scrummage.
Crunch. Bind. Set.
No hook coming from Greg Vads there, and now Worcester struggling to get this ball back. Can't afford for their hooker to lose his position in the Harlequin scrum. Fancy this one, they drive forward and they've turned it over. Danny Kerr breaking down the short side, chips through for Marlon Yard, in behind Dean Hammond. Hammond gets back and does ever so well before being tackled by Danny Kerr. Fantastic scrummaging though from Harlequins. Dowson.
Worcester, use it!
Johnny R onto the trusty left boot, and he finds touch. The Harlequins with some excellent field position of their own now, and it all came from the pressure exerted in the set scrum, and when one considers how much weight is ceded by that Harlequins pack, no mean feat.
Quinn, do you want a tempo? Let's go.
Oh, the encouragement coming from Danny Kerr. He could sense it was coming. Straight in, plucks the ball out. A little quick thought there to weight the ball in behind the defence, but Dean Hammond did ever so well. James Horwell up and collects this nicely. Worcester not contesting it, and therefore the tackle was legal. Harlequins will have to release this. Luke Pearce tells Danny Kerr he needs to use it. Danny Kerr, that went a little bit wrong. Not entirely sure what was meant to happen there. Ended up being a back heel, almost stood on the ball. Chisholm tries to regain some momentum here for Harlequins. Matthews behind him, 2 of the heavier players in that Quins pack. Here goes Nick Evans, still a sprightly turn of pace. Lovely line of running from Marchant that saw him drift round the outside of Willison. No offside given. Joe Marler will have to tidy up this time. It's the scraps at the moment that Quins are having to feed off, and that won't please Danny Kerr. Nick Evans with a crossfield kick in behind Hammond, in behind R managed to call the mark just before the try line. Pressure exerted yet again from Harlequins. Worcester equal to it.
Not right. No, not yet.
Johnny R drives the ball back into touch, and we're pretty much where we were just a few moments ago. Nick Evans will have been disappointed, just didn't quite get the angle right, and so no chance for Robshaw to contest it. James Horwell again claims it off the top, and now Marlon Yard waiting for it. And it went forward off the England winger into the hands of Winston Stanley, and it will be a scrummage to Worcester, and it's a sense of frustration that you feel that reverberates around the stoop at the moment. The fans know that it's close, but it's not quite getting the finishing touch that they would want. It's almost over-eager.
Come on, lads, let's go. Come on. Let's go.
Don't get cold, don't let him go in. Let's go, Paul. They will buckle. Do not give up here.
Robshaw with the advice, telling his team, this is where we can have them again. Turned it over last time, no reason we shouldn't be able to this time.
No, nothing. Lads, pre-engage, tiny bit more space. Okay, reset.
Keep going, boys.
Let's get on with it.
So one against the head so far.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Once again, Harlequins went to get the nudge on. It's gone down. Luke Pearce is going to play on. All out to Shilcock, who gets it onto his boot. Brilliant charge down from Danny Kerr. And they really are ramping up the pressure here. But it is Nick Schoenert who's gone down. Picked up an injury against the Leicester Tigers at Welford Road 3 weeks ago. In a match that ended with uncontested scrums because Schoenert was unable to come back on. And John Kingston is a wonderfully positive man when he gets talking about his players. Really feels that the strength and depth here at Harlequins should be yielding better results this season. Hoping that they can turn the stoop into a very, very strong fortress throughout this season. It's Nick Schoenert who's the player who stayed down, and heavy strapping already on that left arm, and was wincing with a certain amount of pain when the physio was applying pressure there. He's going to have some extra taping now put on. But if it affects his ability to bind and to scrummage, then there will be no point in him staying on. And as a consequence, we see Manama Lele Malafanga warming up, and James Johnson as well, of course, making his return here after a trip into France when he plied his trade, then back from France to play in Saracens colours. But it all started down at the stoop playing for Harlequins, and he had many happy memories of playing here. Nick Schoenert with the strapping on is going to resume.
Time is on.
Yep.
One of the first duties that Schoenert have to do here is lift Duncan O'Callaghan. However, it is Darren Barry who is the target in the line-out. Jabba Bragvadze, the man in possession of the ball here for the Worcester Warriors, who have rolled this beautifully onwards up towards the edge of the 22.
Okay, Worcester, that's once.
Johnny Yard has the ball in his hands and hoists up the box kick. Marlon Yard coming underneath it. Carl Cohen shrugged someone out of the way there on his way through to put the pressure on, and it was Dean Hammond who was there yet again. Great pressure from him, marching out the line, and it's Mike Brown who suddenly saw out the corner of his eye that Chris Pennell was there, and it's a fine tackle on Brown. Luke Pearce plays on. It was an advantage there to Worcester, who would have had a scrummage, but that advantage is now over as Worcester make their way into Quinn's territory. Pennell acts as scrum half. Ryan Lamb knows there's nothing he can do with that, so leaves it to O'Callaghan, who scoops it up. Ryan Lamb now hoists that up and under again for Dean Hammond to take, and Dean Hammond has done so much excellent work out the back of the hand from Brown into Marchant. Marchant under a lot of pressure there. And Marchant manages to get it back to Danny Kerr. Kerr into the hands of Chisholm. Drives up towards the edge of the 22. Danny Kerr told he may now kick this ball straight into touch. And that box kick finds Shilcock right down on the touchline. Shilcock can feed it back inside to Ryan Lamb. Pennell was there. He misses out though and goes wide to Teo. Teo dancing through 1-2. Lovely run from Teo, once again setting it alight. But the ball goes forward in the end, and it will be Harlequins with their first put-in of the afternoon. Yet again though, Ben Teo, so exciting with the ball in hand. One little jink one way, another jink past Evans, then shrugs off Matthews before being well tackled by Stanley.
Bind up, let's go.
Phil Dowson, look at those football skills from a number 8.
Spacing again, 3, spacing. Crouch!
So a frenetic start to this game at the Stoop, but now as we approach the half hour, no points added since the 8th minute. Benteo setting up Jackson Willison for Worcester's equalising try. Danny Kerr putting Quins into the lead early on, thanks to a Tim Visser interception.
Bind up.
Let's go, John.
Yeah, bind up. Of course.
Let's go, Dukes. What's your back ready?
Time on, Bob. Crouch! Bind! Set!
Luke Pearce wants the ball in. Quins standing firm and now starting to get a rumble forward, looking for that penalty held by Chisholm. The ball has come out though, and it's very messy, and it'll be picked up. Feeds Pennell. Pennell back inside. Lovely skills from Pennell. Couldn't quite get the offload. Johnny R to Ryan Lamb. Numbers out wide. Lamb off the outside of his boot. It's going to go inside Yard. He can't carry it cleanly. Dean Hammond with putting pressure on him. It's not been a great afternoon as far as Marlon Yard is concerned. It's a Worcester line out.
I totally agree, you're going straight forward, but nobody's made it wrong. 9 times out of 10, they're not on that one.
Harlequins so certain there that they were going to be picking up the penalty that Chisholm and Kerr forgot to take care of the ball, not playing to the whistle. And it finds them, as a consequence, encamped on their own 5-metre line. Worcester Warriors with the line out. Bregvadze goes in to the front of the line. O'Callaghan gets it to Farsaliba. Harlequins have conceded the penalty already. To Lamb. Lamb just scoops it over the top, but Willison couldn't get through. They had the penalty anyway, so it was a kick to nothing. Charlie Matthews, the player who was penalised.
Yeah. Time off. Danny. One more up here, one down here. People being played off the ball. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
Danny Kerr instructed that is twice the same penalty has been committed there. Luke Pearce just saying twice now the player without the ball has been played. As a consequence, 2 penalties conceded. They've got to be very careful here, otherwise Luke Pearce will be reaching into his pocket and they will receive a yellow card, which they can ill afford considering the pressure they're being put under. Barry collects the ball in the line out. This maul has been halted once, but they now have the rumble on up towards the line. Numbers there. It'll be another penalty coming to Worcester. Harlequins could find themselves shorn of the man services for the next 10 minutes. Crossfield kick put in there beyond Chris Pennell and Mike Brown, but it is back, and reaching for his pocket is Luke Pearce, and Joe Marler is in the bin. So collapsing them all, Joe Marler finds himself in the bin for the next 10 minutes, so Harlequins will be down a man
Quins, you don't get a free
for
one.
all bar 1
You don't get a
minute
freebie.
of this half. Felt like it was coming too. O'Callaghan. And then crossing goes against the Worcester Warriors this time, and Harlequins have the opportunity to clear their lines.
Number 5 in front of number 4, obstruction.
So Barry penalised for going in front of Donker O'Callaghan there, and that is going to be equally frustrating now for Carl Hogg, as he saw his side building some real momentum, getting great field position. O'Callaghan continues to have a few words with Luke Pearce, as does Phil Dowson. Anyway, all of that means that Quins are down a man, but they have a line out here, which Horwill will not collect. The ball stolen away from the Australian, but then Harlequins have managed to win it back. Danny Kerr feeds to Chisholm, and Luke Wallace, who's had a relatively quiet afternoon so far, the open side flanker. Rapava Ruskin comes flying through the middle, it's turned over, but then bricked up brilliantly by Martin in midfield, looking for the support. Lovely hands to Danny Kerr. Kerr then punts it off the outside of his boot. One bounce, comes back inside. Pressure will be applied here on Shilcock. Tim Visser's there to make the tackle. It is still very scrappy indeed. The Harlequins are feeding off those scraps and applying the pressure on Worcester, who find themselves back in their own 22. Johnny R has the ball in hand and can clear away up towards his own 10-metre line. Well, Quins were in all sorts of trouble there, but Clark Kerwin couldn't find his man. Marchant turned it over. Lovely slick hands from Stanley through to Danny Kerr.
Always give it a fair competition.
Shilcock, though, did very well in spite of being put under real pressure from Kerr and Visser. Now the Quins fans look to try and get their side into the sort of position, get the sort of momentum behind them to create a second score this afternoon for the home team. Danny Kerr puts it back inside to Tim Visser, well watched by Johnny R, who makes the tackle. Kerr to Robshaw. Robshaw drives through Ryan Lamb with relative ease. Kerr looking for that ball again. Nick Evans flicks it across. Stanley slides back inside. Stanley almost got away from Rapava Ruskin. Chisholm was there, but then intercepted by Ryan Lamb, and Ryan Lamb strides away from Mike Brown, realises he doesn't have the gas to get away from the England fullback, and a blanket of Quins players back to defend their lines. Joe Marchant, lovely footwork from Marchant, lovely play as he runs out of the 22. Great skills, great presence of mind as well, and now Nick Evans tries to launch the ball as far downfield as he can, but Shilcock's underneath this one. Another open passage of play that just keeps on giving. The up and under is very up, and Shilcock gets underneath it to win the ball back for Worcester. Pennell acting as scrum half to Rapava Ruskin. Goes around those flanks and drives through to Chisholm, one of the players beaten. Harlequins have managed to turn this one over though. Luke Wallace is looking for it. Evans wants to try and put it over the top of the defence, but Dean Hammond scampers back to collect it just outside his 22. Looked for Shilcock, he wasn't really there, and Hammond with a crossfield up and under, collected by Mike Brown, who was played in the air there, so it'll be a penalty to Quins. Little nudge through, Marlon Yard might be able to scoop this up, doesn't quite manage to stay in play, and they will come back for the penalty for the tackle in the air. The timing only just off.
Yeah, this I'm not checking it.
Mike Brown has stayed down because he was winded there, immediately looking at the referee. And here are the skills we just saw from Joe Marchant. I mean, how long before we do see him in an England shirt? set alight the Under-20 Junior World Rugby Championship earlier on this year, as England marched to the title up at Sale, and he's looked mighty impressive so far this afternoon when he's had the opportunity to get the ball in hand. One of the greatest sidesteps in the Aviva Premiership currently on show. Buchanan on the edge of the Worcester 22 now as Harlequins will look to just iron out those unforced errors that have cost them scoring and converting territory into points. Buchanan has the ball, Danny Kerr now wants it. Marlon Yard is his intended recipient, and Kerr finds Marlon Yard, although that was a bit of a play to nothing. Didn't really suck in too many defenders either. Charlie Matthews manages to shrug off one tackle and then takes play into the middle. Here's Nick Evans, bit of extra pace, popped back inside by Buchanan into the hands of Marlon Yard. Quins now into that Worcester 22. Once again though, possession is conceded, and Worcester will have the opportunity to clear their lines. Marlon Yard unable to get it away on that occasion.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, mate.
Just over 4 minutes remaining in the half, which means just over 3 minutes remaining on the yellow card
Quint,
for Joe
fair
Marler.
competition in the air, okay? Fair competition.
Mark Lambert has made his way onto the exercise bike. Joe Marler sitting down in the dugout. The ball goes out to Ben Teo. It has been thus far, with the 2 tries, an exhibition show from Ben Teo and Joe Marchant really, as far as footwork is concerned. Saliba carries the ball up to that gain line. Ryan Lamb with a flat kick through. Mike Brown collects it inside his 22. Will be able to push this one out towards touch, but Ryan Lamb was back to collect again in that little channel. Lamb tries to chip over the top and ran into a man, and it's Martin again. Lovely skill from Martin, great skill once again, eventually tackled by Braganza. The Quins come up with the ball. Robshaw to Kerr. Kerr looking for something special, flings along past to Marlon Yard. Yard tries to chip round the outside, but the ball takes an unkind bounce on that occasion and goes into touch. There's that little chip over the top, and here's Marchant once again, and watch that speed with which he changes off one foot to the other. So exciting to watch. Marlon Yard just without real options. Greg Vancer tried to find Dowson, and the ball went loose at the back of the line. Out Quins come up with it. Luke Wallace from Robshaw. Now Evans can fling it out to Marchant. Marchant gets it into the hands of Tim Visser. Visser back inside to Marchant. Marchant away from one, away from two, out the back of the hand to Danny Kerr. Quite brilliant again from Joe Marchant. Hasn't quite created anything, but they've still got the ball here. Mike Brown, Marlon Yard has options outside, and Yard puts his head down and goes for that corner. The Quins fans in better voice as the clock counts down towards half-time. Chisholm. What they don't want now is a scrappy, unforced error. The pass possession back to Worcester. Danny Kerr, Nick Evans. Nick Evans just tried to kick it through, and it didn't quite make it. Worcester win the ball back. Teo. And now Saliba. And Saliba burst through. Great skill from him. Saliba looking for the support, couldn't find it, and Harlequins have the advantage now. Marlon Yard straightens past Greg Vancer. Good tackle from the Georgian. Here's Kerr. Brown into midfield, where Charlie Matthews sees himself lining up against Ryan Lamb. Kerr again. Brown looking to try and do something himself. Dowson. Marlon Yard. Back inside to Danny Kerr. Danny Kerr to Chris Robshaw. Robshaw with the support of Luke Wallace. They keep it down that short side. Danny Kerr half away, but isolated. And the ball is lost, the support not quick enough. And great work, yet again, coming from Jackson Willison at the breakdown. And Worcester have been very impressive in that particular part of the game.
Okay, no worries. Time off, Bob. Simeon back on. Just checking the guy's head over here. Number 7 on feet.
So Joe Marler returns to the fray. The player who has remained on the ground is Ryan Lamb, and I'm not actually that surprised that he stayed down, because the man who clattered into him was Charlie Matthews, weighing in at 115 kilos. He stands 2 meters and 3 tall. It was a rather colossal mismatch.
Cool, that's play on. Yep. All right. Sure.
So no HIA for Ryan Lamb there.
Okay, water off, lads.
Taking the
Water off.
full impact there. Far Saliba was involved in the tackle as well, but Ryan Lamb,
Just wait over here.
looks as though he is aware that he's in southwest London at least.
Yeah, time's still off. Just...
Penalty then for the Worcester Warriors. Just 50 seconds remaining. And Ryan Lamb will find touch, and the Worcester Warriors take play up here towards their own 10-metre line.
Attack obstruction, okay? Make sure there's none.
As far as Harlequins are concerned, they have managed to weather the 10 minutes where they were down a man and not cede any points. Still 7 points apiece as we run into half-time. Greg Vadze drives up in this maul towards that 10-metre line. Johnny R now calling for the ball as it heads towards the touchline. Back inside to Willison. Try scorer for Worcester in reply to the try from Danny Kerr early on. Johnny R was taken down there by Kerr. Ball goes loose, and so we hear that it is the referee's time. The next time the ball goes dead, it will be half-time. Ryan Lamb knows that, and he will find touch. So an explosive start here at the Stoop. Harlequins getting on the score sheet inside 5 minutes thanks to an interception from Tim Visser, which he unselfishly passed back inside to his skipper, Danny Kerr. But Ben Teo set up Jackson Willison for a reply for Worcester on 7 minutes, converted by Jamie Shilcock. And at the interval, it is honours even in a scrappy affair thereafter. It's Quinn 7, Warriors 7. Teams. Worcester perhaps will feel the more aggrieved of the two teams to have been behind at the interval, especially after having that period when Joe Marler was in the sin bin. However, it's 7 points apiece as Nick Evans hoists it up to Dean Hammond to collect inside his own 22. Now, what Worcester did so fantastically in the opening exchanges was to prevent Harlequins clearing their lines from the kickoff, not getting that exit strategy quite right. Kicked away by Johnny R, but not the touch that he was looking for. Ball set beautifully there. Kerr to Marler. A bit back between his teeth there from Joe Marler. And fired out. Matthews had the support of Chisholm. Danny Kerr busy as ever. Not the best of passes though to Nick Evans. Marlon Yard trying to get back on the front foot, but Harlequins somewhat stopped in their tracks. Chisholm cuts back inside, goes into Ben Teo. Picked out again, Buchanan. It's as though some words were said at the interval here to the Harlequins players. There is more menace in all of their faces as they take the ball into contact.
Release Worcester!
Danny Kerr to Evans. Stanley round the outside. Stanley still going, eventually hauled to ground by Carl Cohen, but Ball now comes away, and it's Kerr off the outside of the boot. It's Matthews to chase that one. He won't have the pace to get it before Shilcock. Shilcock goes to Pennell, and Pennell pushes the ball deep past Tim Visser, who will wait for it to bounce up, and in the end the languid Scot has the ball in his hands and canters forward, tackled though by Pennell just shy of his own 10-metre line. Joe Marler unceremoniously dumps Pennell back into that ruck. Good hands there from Mike Brown to get it to Robshaw. Robshaw gets it to Chisholm, who had Buchanan outside him, perhaps not the speediest trio out on the left wing. Brown again, a rather anonymous first half from Mike Brown, but this time he has seen more of the ball. I would suggest in the opening exchanges there's a interchange there between Chisholm and Kerr, and now Buchanan, ball towards touch, but keeps his feet in play. Robshaw up towards the edge of the 22. Danny Kerr gets it out to Matthews. Matthews into Marler. Marler tries to get it away, succeeds to Evans. Evans now into Stanley. Beautiful play from Quinn. Stanley floats the pass long to Visser. Visser collects, but he's tackled just short of the line. Great play from Harlequins, starting to open up that Worcester defence. Marlon Yard driving towards the line. Just short, they have the advantage. Flat pass to Holwell, who scores the try. Whatever was said at the interval by John Kingston has certainly taken swift effect. It is a different looking Harlequins team who have taken to the turf here at the Stoop in the second half, and they have their reward early on with James Holwell going over for the try. Well, there were some lovely hands early on in that move, but it was the way the Harlequins managed to get through the phases that was the difference there. No unforced. There are great hands from Matthews, Marler, and then Evans skipping away. Stanley getting in behind the defence. Long pass out wide. Tim Visser unable to bulldoze his way over the line. Marlon Yard tried his best to get over from close range, but then fired into the hands of Holwell. And the Australian touches down for his first try this season. Last time he went over was back in March against Bath. Nick Evans is on target, 2 from 2 this afternoon for Evans. And Harlequins are back into the lead. Marlon Yard is back on his feet. Harlequins 7 points up. There's the restart from Ryan Lamb, collected well by James Holwell. Danny Kerr to Chisholm. Chisholm, oh, lovely delayed pass there, and marching into the line. Right the way down this line, and Visser with an explosive little acceleration there. The ball goes backwards. Warning signs there for Harlequins, though, that they have to be very, very secure at the breakdown to retain possession.
No, Joe, relax, off him.
Box kick. Collected by Marchant, who went flying through there and timed his leap to perfection. Danny Kerr straight to the breakdown. Luke Wallace now to Stanley. Stanley to Brown. Brown with Visser. Tries to carry possession there, sensing that Visser was running out of room on this left-hand side. Danny Kerr picks it up again. Nick Evans to Holwell, up to halfway. Holwell manages to force his way over that halfway line. Kerr has it again. Little shallow pass, knocked forward. And as a consequence, we'll have our first scrummage, and there's the first unforced error from Harlequins in this second half. But it's taken 6 minutes for it to come, and that will please John Kingston.
Come on, wind up, let's play. Let's go.
Go on, boys. Go. Keep going.
9. Johnny. No strike. Straight putting.
Worcester put it. Johnny R. waits
Crunch.
to get this one in.
Bind. Set.
Lily Malafanga has made his way into the technical area, ready to come on to the field of play. I would imagine that Nick Shedder will be the man who makes way. Received some extra strapping in that first half, but it is Worcester who are penalised at the set.
Angle.
And it'll be a penalty here to Harlequins on halfway. Nick Evans.
Interesting sight.
Ball poofed down into touch. Valrapava Ruskin is going to make way for Lily Malafanga. It will be James Johnson who does eventually replace Nick Shedder in this game. Lily Malafanga. Salman weighing in at 130 kilos, adding further more weight to that Worcester Warriors pack, but they have been in trouble. Four-wheel claims off the top of the line. Marlon Yard busying himself in midfield. Danny Kerr quickly recycled ball. Joe Marler immediately welcomes Lily Malafanga to the fray. Kerr now able to explode back on that short side. Brown, lovely weaving run from Mike Brown to score! And Harlequins have a third. And after a practically anonymous first half performance from the England fullback, he certainly has got the bit between his teeth in this second 40. We played less than 10 minutes of the second half and Harlequins have a third try. And this one has come courtesy of Mike Brown. Marlon Yard off his wing. And then Joe Marler. It was all of the England squad combining, with the exception of Chris Robshaw. Mike Brown in to score, Marlon Yard in to congratulate his first try of the season. Amazingly, a first try in the Aviva Premiership for Mike Brown since scoring against London Welsh back in October 2014. Didn't manage an Aviva Premiership try last season. Nick Evans maintains his perfect afternoon from the kicking tee. It's Harlequins 21, Worcester 7. And John Kingston cutting a far happier figure at the start of this second half than he did for most of that first half. Ryan Lamb finds Mike Brown. Danny Kerr needs the ball out to Buchanan, who's driven forward there by Matthews. Nick Evans stepped back and he hasn't found touch there. Shilcock waits for it around halfway. Can lead a counter charge here. Shilcock steps back inside looking for his forwards, and Joe Marler managed to do enough there to disrupt the fullback. Here comes James Johnson on for Nick Shedder. Ryan Lamb delays that lovely line of running from Willison. Willison has support from Teo. Teo blazes away. What a riposte that is from Worcester Warriors. It is the reverse combination of their opening try. Teo set up Willison on that occasion. This time Willison sets up Teo. And as far as Eddie Jones is concerned, this has been a particularly purple patch at the start of the second half, where he's seen two of the men in his 33-man squad go over. Mike Brown for Quins, Ben Teo for the Worcester Warriors.
Bob, just take time off for a sec, please.
Ben Teo managed to score in that thrilling draw against Gloucester earlier on in the season, so has two to his name now in the Aviva Premiership. Shilcock missed his first attempt on goal, kicked his second, adds his third. Just 7 points between the two teams, an important conversion, that one.
Set go, mate. So you happy, yeah? Okay.
Ryan Lamb is currently off the field of play, and he's been replaced by Josh Adams. That's for an HIA though. Scoop restart. Visser unable to push the ball back, and as a consequence it's an advantage being played here for the Worcester Warriors.
Worcester, use it!
Into the hands of Cohen, who is able to use the sizable bulk there of James Johnson. Lily Malafanga was round the back. Johnny Yard scoops up the box kick down the channel, which is collected by Mike Brown, who will look to lead a counter-attacking charge. And once again Brown busies himself up towards halfway. Danny Kerr is trampling all over Carl Cohen there. Lovely hands back inside by Visser to Horwill. Horwill finds Robshaw. Robshaw scoops it up to Visser once more, shrugs off one. Regvanza brings him to a standstill. Joe Marler checks back inside and burrows forward.
Advantage.
Danny Kerr waiting just long enough to get the penalty.
The irony.
Arm on the ball. Hey, relax now, Joe. One. That's a bit much.
Joe Marler having a few extra words there to Donker O'Callaghan as he got back up to his feet. Nick Evans punts that penalty down into the 22. It'll be the Harlequins line out about 10 metres shy of the Worcester line as they go in search of what would be a bonus point try. Lovely hands there. Corwin out the back. Visser wanting to flick it back inside. Seen some great combinations from the Harlequins players. They play rugby in the way that many would like to see it played the world over. The ball starts to roll round.
Quins, that's once!
Harlequins will have to use it. Danny Kerr's got a very big blind side and he's going to try and use it, and Marlon Yard wasn't there. Danny Kerr extends a hand and says, where were you, mate?
Not sure. Just open up, lads, open up.
And he's not happy, understandably. I have no idea why Yard tried to go back inside. For Marlon Yard. There's a real opportunity there for him, leaping around the outside, especially with his pace, but Worcester march it up towards the edge of their own 22.
Away, Worcester!
And it's being turned over by Harlequins. Lou Wallace needs some support here. There is absolutely no way that Carl Cohen was on his feet. Put back inside to Stanley. Stanley running into some trouble. Marlon Yard will have to try and tidy this up. What can Yard do? He straightens, forces it away, and then it's knocked forward.
Advantage, Worcester.
Phil Dowson. And a few words exchanged there between him and Marler. Big smiles between both players.
Hey, Joe. Time's up a sec. Joe. Joe. Time's off, Bob. Hang on. No. Of course not. But I seem to be speaking to you a lot. We're going 4-1.
I wonder why that is.
Hang on. You've had your fun now. Just no rush.
I'll make some dollar then.
Work with me here.
Just say, mate.
Work with me. Phil. You'll be just inside. No, I know there's not, but we can't keep having lots of nothings. So just make it. There we are. Problem solved. Time on.
So Joe Marler and Phil Dowson both having a friendly reminder from referee Luke Pearce that they can cut it out.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
It's going to be reset on this occasion. Just a little bit of untidiness creeping into the game at the moment. Harlequins 21, Worcester Warriors 14 the score.
Quick reset. You two don't change. Don't change.
James Johnson and Nama Lelimalafanga, the two new props, weighing in at 130 and 140 kilos respectively for the Worcester Warriors, which really does lend quite a substantial addition to the force of that front row. The penalty goes the way of Worcester as a consequence as Harlequins go down. Will Collier, the man, going into the turf that time.
18, are you okay? Okay, we'll play the kick, and if it's bad, we'll stop, okay? Let's go.
Jamie Shilcock.
Yeah, if it's bad, we'll stop.
That's the ball now into touch. So Worcester will have the line out up towards the halfway line. Carl Hogg.
Okay, shoulder, we'll play on. Okay, let's go.
Looking on slightly concerned. James Johnson has a shoulder injury down there.
Let's go.
On the pitch. It is not a neck injury as a consequence. Referee Luke Pearce wants to get play back on.
HIA, is it?
Well, not yet. When she's assessing, she's got pins and needles, so just we can have just 1 minute to be clear.
Yeah.
Safe.
How about 30 seconds?
Well, I'll take anything I can.
There you go. Of course we can. No, just take 30 seconds. Just take 30 seconds. Yeah, of course. Yeah, time's off. Yeah, as long as you just tell me the numbers that are coming in, please.
A bit of time to explain. You go back to second.
James Johnson preparing to make his way back on. The water bottle has come onto the field of play.
Okay, lads, what's the call? Play on, thanks. What? Let's go. Yeah, I know. How many Worcester? All in Quins. Maintain the space, okay?
I'm not entirely sure why that man's fallen asleep. It hasn't been a thrilling second half so far. We've had 3 converted tries already. Stanley to Marchant, now down to Mike Brown. Mike Brown lining up against England teammate Benteo. Score of Worcester's second try, which puts them currently in a losing bonus point territory. Harlequins need another try for an attacking bonus. Evans, Stanley, running some good lines, but he easily cut out there, and Dowson puts his head down. Shouldn't have the pace up against Yard or Evans, and it's Nick Evans who makes the tackle, but Dowson has made great ground there, and Brigvanza picks up, charges towards the line, needs support, comes in from Barry. Johnny R. Options both ways. Shilcock was one of them. Shilcock finds Pennell. Very nearly lost the ball. In fact, did lose the ball forwards. And it will be a scrummage to Quins inside their own 22. And frustration there for Chris Pennell on his Aviva Premiership comeback. And there is to be a change. Now Lynette comes on to replace Jabba Brigvanza. And Matt Luamanu is going to come on for Quins.
Give me a change over, man. Yeah. Cheers, lad.
So Matt Luamanu comes on in place of Charlie Matthews. And there's been a fine performance from Matthews on his comeback at Quins. Applauds the crowd as he makes his way down into the dugout.
Stop in the air. Time on the crouch, Bob, all right? Yep, there you go.
And Ryan Lamb back on from his HIA. Josh Adams makes way.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
encouraging display from them. This time they have the penalty. And a free chance to clear their lines. And a few words from Joe Marler to James Johnson. Evans finds his touch. Joe Gray comes on for Rob Buchanan as well. And straight into the fray, Joe Gray. Change for the Worcester Warriors sees Dave Ward come on.
Okay, let's play.
Carl Kerwin, the man, making his way off. Joe Gray immediately picks out his man, Horwell. Gray in possession of the back of this maul, and Rob Shaw starts to lead it forwards, and
18, Worcester is bound in. Advantage 20 entry.
and that would be
Advantage Quins.
Barry being penalised. The advantage being played here for Harlequins. Out to Evans. And a little nudge through. It's a 50-50 ball. So they will come back because there was no advantage. And Mike Brown squaring up against Shilcock.
Okay,
A little fractious outburst over on that far side of the field of play. A little niggle has crept into this game, rather unnecessarily. Dean Hammond comes in to just offer some vocal support.
Yep. 20 entry. Six, yep.
The Volt Hiker, the man who came on for Carl Cohen, and beg his pardon, after quite a long period on the sidelines, and the South African immediately penalised there. Joe Gray then, Quinn's line out on the edge of the 22, going in search of this try bonus. Into the front of the line, Horwell collects comfortably. Luamanu was there. There is to be an advantage played here. And Danny Kerr will just get Evans to nudge us down into the bottom. So Podhaiter and Callahan both penalised. And we are not far away from Luke Pearce, I should imagine, showing a yellow card to Worcester Warriors, because it was for the similar sort of position that we saw Harlequins penalised in the first half for a similar sort of offence. Not going to nudge down to the corner though. Want to try and make this game as safe as possible. So Nick Evans is going to kick a goal. So Nick Evans, 3 from 3 so far this afternoon, came into this match with just a 64% rate of success from the kicking tee, but he's now kicked 14 and missed 7. And you can make that 15-7 because Nick Evans is 4 from 4 this afternoon. Harlequins with a 10-point lead then, and we are into the final quarter. 16 minutes to play as Ryan Land prepares to get things going again. Orwell waits for the ball. It wasn't a good lift though, and the ball is collected by Pennell. Judgment not there. And Worcester with a great position. Dowson, little glance over his shoulder there from R to see if the short side was available, but intercepted by Marchant, who weaves away. Now Joe Marchant up against Pennell, who comes sprinting back. Joe Marchant's going for the corner. Marchant is going to score the ball. Brilliantly rounded off. And a deserving try in spite of a quieter second half than the performance we saw from Joe Marchant in the first 40. But there, some opportunism as he grabs the interception and out-sprints the remainder of the Worcester defensive line to score in the corner and give Quins the attacking bonus. Ryan Lamb's pass, the one that was plucked out of the air, and then Marchant was away. And when you consider the calibre of player he was up against in the shape of Teo and Pennell, it shows just the sort of gas that he has in the antechamber. Second try of the season, his first since the opening weekend over the road at Twickenham. Can Nick Evans maintain his perfect afternoon from the tee? The answer is no. It's not going to quite draw back inside the far post. So a first missed kick from Nick Evans, but Joe Marchant has ensured that Harlequins have that try bonus.
Hang on, bro. Take a sec. Let's go.
They lead by 15 with just around 15 minutes remaining. Ryan Lamb restarts. Pennell doesn't quite manage to recuperate the ball, but Hammond does manage to. And Lamb thought twice there about giving the miss pass because he realised what happened last time. Johnny R. Lamb moves it swiftly now into the hands of Shilcock, who manages to rumble around the outside of Stanley. R again. Dowson, great tackle. Knocked backwards there, Dowson, but R picks it up and manages to wedge one in behind the defence, which Mike Brown
backwards
entirely make the best fist of. He then backs it downfield. The ball bounces once before Adams picks it up. Josh Adams then sends it forward, but that one is going to go straight into touch. No, it's going to bounce just inside and then go out, taken quickly by Marlon Yard to Mike Brown. Little look up to see if Dave Ward was in support. Danny Kerr waiting for the ball, and now puts that kick up in the air where it's collected, but then Marlon Yard was there very quickly and then hauls Hammond into touch, and the line out will be a Quins ball. That is excellent play from Marlon Yard.
Time off. Hey, Rosie, I'm going to come to you here. Hey,
Let's play on.
Ryan. Hey.
Luke, we've got language issues there as well. You might have a chat to the players in a moment about that.
Time off there. Greg, hold him there, please.
Well, things bubbling over, and no surprise to see Joe Marler in the centre of proceedings.
Go ahead, Luke.
I want to check the actions of Harlequins 1 and whether there's a late hit on Worcester 10. Probably about 3 or 4 phases before the ping pong in the ball.
Luke, I can tell you that there was a late charge by Quins 1, but we'll put it on the screen so you can have a look at it.
If you can find it, yes, please.
Yeah, we'll do, mate.
Ryan Lamb making his way off the field of play after sustaining a late hit there. Johnny R wants to have a word. Joe Marler's got to be very careful here because he received a yellow card in the first half. Now, Luke Pearce isn't one going to be sending him off, but is it another yellow card offence? If it is, it's a red.
Here we go, Luke. He's the one.
Yeah, okay. Just show me that one again, please, Rosie.
Yeah, we'll show it again, mate.
Thanks.
Well, it's an unnecessary late hit from Joe
Luke,
Marler.
I'm going to get you another angle. The first angle is the best angle to look at, okay?
A rather foolish position.
This is full speed, Luke. Here we go.
Cheers. Okay. Yeah, it's a late push, isn't it, by Joe Marler. It's no more than a penalty for me, Rosie. Have you got anything more to add?
No, that's right.
Okay, so can you just get the restart, point of restart, please? That's a strong word with Joe Marler here. Captain and 1, please. No, just relax a sec. Just relax. Just relax. Okay, this is it. I know, but it's a late tackle, isn't it? And Joe, it's the 3rd time we've now spoken. I really suggest you take on board what I'm trying to get out of you. Otherwise, we're going to end up having a sticky situation, aren't we?
I hear you, sir.
All right, it's going to restart with a penalty.
I hear you.
I'm not going to speak to you again.
You won't.
Thanks. Where am I restarting, please, David? Around here, is it?
Just on the halfway line.
Just
Luke.
on the halfway line,
Worcester,
the 15.
Joe Marler
Worcester
saying
side of the
that he
halfway line.
has
Thank
taken
you.
on board what Luke Pearce has said, and he needs to.
Next hit on number 10.
An unnecessary red card would have serious repercussions. Ryan Lamb has now left the field of play, as has Dean Hammond. Joe Marler has succeeded in getting under the skin of several of the Worcester players, but he needs to be careful. Language also an issue there, and apologies to any of you who hearing the words exchanged there by the players. So Johnny Arp has made way for Baldwin, and we have Wynand Olivier, the South African former international, on in place of Ryan Lamb. Olivier, such an exciting player, as is this man, running off the back and shrugging off the challenges and winning ground. Lele Malefanga now into that 22 as Worcester go in search of another score, trying to claw their way back into this one, down by 15, almost inside the final 10 minutes. Not great hands there, but brilliantly picked up by Willison. Baldwin gets it out to Podhaita. Podhaita wriggles forward into the 22. Baldwin again, releasing to Teo. O'Callaghan was there. Pennell collects man and Marlon Yard with the ball at the same time. Short side where James Johnson tries to get on the front foot. Comes up by Annette. Quinn's defence come pouring out, looking for a bigger defensive performance. One would have to say that they've had one so far. Nick Evans looked as though he was getting into an offside position. Joe Gray comes up to make the tackle. It's actually Horwell with the tackle there on Teo. Miss pass to Lele Malefanga. Dowson picks it up. Evans dumps him on the ground. Going backwards at the moment, Worcester. Stanley trying to rip that one away. O'Callaghan. Back inside where Saliba loses it, and Harlequins defence stands very firm indeed, and they have to put in on their own 10-metre line.
Okay. Time off. 10 and 15 Quins. Sorry, mate, he'll tell you.
So another couple of changes made by Harlequins. Nick Evans comes off, as does Joe Marchant, to be replaced by Tim Sweel and Alofa. Tim Sweel, who missed much of last season with an injury, but Joe Marchant, yet another afternoon to increase the standing of the 20-year-old. How long will it be until we see him wearing full England international honours?
Stand up. Pre-engage both teams. Quick reset. Ease the pressure off. Crouch. Bind. Set. Quins, use it!
Another good heel for Danny Kerr to set the ball out to Sweel. Now Stanley. Stanley goes long, plucked out of the air by Mike Brown. Wasn't able to get it away to Marlon Yard, but Yard straight in there to win this ball back. Good disruption from the Warriors, but they haven't managed to steal the ball back. Chisholm.
It's a tackle, Phil!
Robshaw gets in to secure the ball once again. Danny Kerr has a look, hoists the ball up in the air. Yard goes charging after it. Pennell managed to fall back inside, and then the tackle is made on Olivier. Ball comes away. Broken play, so the referee will play on. Worcester have done well to get this ball back. Baldwin hoists the box kick of his own. One beautifully marshalled there by Chisholm. Now Mike Brown, and he sees a big hole, but should be scooped up there by Pennell, and is successfully. Pennell, of course, has played much of his career at fullback, just aware where that 22 was, and steadied himself, set himself well, and finds a good touch up around halfway.
On you, mate. Yeah, good. Come on, Queens.
So into the final 10 minutes. Harlequins 29, Worcester 14. Orwell, beautifully done. Stanley can't quite get it away though, and one back by Shilcock, who manages to shrug off the tackle of Sweel, but then a big hit back in midfield from Luamanu, and I think Shilcock fell that one. However, the ball was knocked forward, and so as a consequence the ball will be for a scrummage now to the Worcester Warriors. Mark Lambert prepares himself down on the sidelines alongside Adam Jones. A double change, but it will be for Mark Lambert a massive day, because he will come on to win his 200th cap for Harlequins, and this the 150th anniversary year of the club.
Can I have a look? Sorry. Crunch! Bind! Set!
Ball swiftly moved out to Teo. Teo is tackled well by Alofa. Now ball back inside, and lovely footwork there, fired into Lily Malefanga.
Just keep the mark, please, Greg.
Miss pass out wide to Olivier. Olivier manages to go round the outside, cuts back inside. Nalanet surely was obstructing there.
No, yeah, no advantage here for blocking. Back we come.
So it was blocking.
Okay. 19, yeah. Yeah, I'm on penalty only. I got no reason to go up with you.
What we're at now, scoring passes.
Oh, mate, hang on. Hang on, time off. Time off. Hang on. Rosie, I want to look at it again, please.
Okay, Luke. Just get it for you now, mate.
And Luke Pearce wants to come back and take another look at the incident that led to this penalty.
No, not this one, mate. The one before, please.
So Olivier there with a block.
Just come in now, Luke. Just a
Matt
moment.
Luamanu is the player. Without the
Luke,
ball
those are
there.
the two best angles that
Yeah.
you've shown me there, mate.
In full speed, it looks worse in slow-mo here, Rosie. It's definitely a tackle off the ball, but I'm not thinking any more than a penalty. Your view?
The
I
hand
agree,
came
Luke. Penalty
straight
only.
up,
Okay, thanks, mate. Just by here, that's great.
and
Yeah,
Luamanu
just a penalty.
apologising.
Thanks. On the 10 metre.
Just a misjudgment, got the wrong man. And as a consequence, Luke Pearce is
Tackle off
going
the
to
ball, 18.
just ensure that it will just be a penalty. So now the double change that the Quins fans have been waiting for. Martin Lambert goes on, Adam Jones lets him run out to take the applause at the Stoop, winning his 200th cap for Harlequins. Historic day for Martin Lambert. And you just see the class of the man coming out behind him. Adam Jones, 95 caps for Wales. Let Martin Lambert have his moment there. Ball one by Barry in the lineup.
Don't collapse, 18!
Adam Jones busies himself in there. Baldwin trying to control things.
Worcester, that's once!
Now once for Worcester, so they will have to start using the ball soon. And Harlequins were legal. There's a consequence as the ball rumbles out into touch. It is going to be
No, he's in front of the mark.
a Harlequins lineup.
No! He's in front of the mark.
That would have been exciting.
Doesn't help when I tell you.
Marlon Yard in a one-on-one. Just the wrong side of the mark.
Luke,
Yes.
you've got potential foul play. Can you stop the game for a minute, please?
Hold on, stop. Rosie, what's it involving? Is it involving the guy on the ground over here?
Yeah, it's a bit of footwork.
Yeah, I'm actually
from the
happy
ball.
with it. I've already got it. It's against them. Adam Jones was on the floor. It's nothing for me. I saw it in live time. You happy for me to play on?
Well, let's have a quick review of it, Luke, please.
Okay, time off. Look, I've been asked to review something, okay? Just hang on. Rosie, stick on the screen, please.
So they want to
Just
have
going
a
to get it for you now, Luke. Just a
Okay.
moment.
Hang on.
Adam Jones down. And it's a nasty boot going back into him there. Which player? Well, he was holding on to Darren Barry's legs there.
Just a moment, Luke. Yeah, Luke, that's all the angles.
So, what I'm seeing on the screen here then, the ball, Adam Jones from Quins tries to collapse it, number 18, isn't successful. That footwork to begin with is fine. It's this last bit of kick up that I'm not happy with.
Correct, Luke. He's holding on to him, but as you can see, he lets go, then he follows through the second time.
So Rosie, look, for me 18 brings this on because he's trying to collapse that more, and that would be the original penalty. Okay, and then Worcester then reacts to him by just kicking out. Because Adam Jones starts this, I'm not thinking any more than a penalty.
Luke, I would absolutely agree with you there.
Okay, 18, and time's off.
So Darren Barry is going to be penalised. It will be a penalty.
It's another one. Hang on. No, it looks worse than slow. No, you tried to collapse the ball. All right, not very well at doing it. You then kicked out of it. Okay, it's no more than a penalty. It would have been a penalty against you for collapsing. It's reversed for you kicking out. Okay, no.
Show your hands between Darren Barry and Adam Jones. It will be just a penalty for Harlequins, a chance to clear their lines, and time running out for Worcester now
Yep, when you're ready.
to emerge with anything from the Stoop.
Cheers, Rosie.
Tim Sweel stabilises as much ground as he can. The decision is that that ground will take play up to around the 10-metre line. Gray to find Corwell. The nudge back on here from the Quins players. Joe Gray in control of it.
That's one.
3 tries to 1. They've outscored Worcester in this second half. The ball goes down. Danny Kerr is looking for it.
Advantage Quins.
Conker O'Callaghan, the man who brought that down. Mike Brown collects and now gets it out to Tim Visser. He manages to keep his feet in play. Danny Kerr looking for it again. Good ball to Stanley. Flat pass into the midfield where it's collected by Dave Ward. Sweel. Oh, slick hands from Alofa. Fernand Olivier unable to get the ball away from him though.
Say again, man. You got the advantage. Yeah, Quins.
Narlanet with the line out. Last 3 minutes of play here. Podhaita is the man that they've gone for. He finds Baldwin. Lovely ball in midfield to Teo. Lovely looping run from Shilcock. Shilcock manages to force the ball out where it's eventually brought to ground. Olivier had made some decent ground up towards halfway, but Worcester Warriors see it disrupted. Baldwin with untidy ball to Dowson. But the former Saints forward is the man who manages to wrap it up. Willison. Lily Malifanga, ball went loose and Quins had managed to pick this up and scooped away by Danny Kerr. Mike Brown saw a big gap. Brown explodes through. He's got Kerr in support. Flings it wide to Visser. Kerr was there. Visser cuts back inside, goes for the corner and scores. Well, I have a feeling they will have a look to see if Danny Kerr made an obstruction here.
Yeah, got you, Luke.
It's unfortunate because if Mike Brown had gone to Kerr, I think they would have scored. Instead, he flung the missed pass.
Yeah,
it left Visser a lot to do. Visser did it very well, but I have a feeling the only reason he managed to get into the corner is the block here from Danny Kerr, who knew exactly what he was. Well, actually, on that view, he was only up against Narlanet anyway. Opinion of that is he's taking a long look down in the corner.
Yeah, so
those are all the angles, mate.
We've got to discount the tackle after. We've got to look at the replacement hooker from Worcester, and I do think that. Hang on. From what I can see, Rosie, if Danny Kerr hadn't done those actions, the tackle may have been made by the replacement hooker.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So I'm going to award the penalty to Quins for the block, to Worcester for the blocking, okay?
Yeah, that's fine, Luke.
Danny, you're in. Listen, I know you're in front of him, and it discounts the hooker's chance of making a tackle. So it has to be.
It's going to be a penalty to the Worcester Warriors. I think in the end that the correct decision has been made. I think Danny Kerr, playing innocent there, knew exactly what he was doing. Shilcock finds touch. John Kingston down onto the sidelines. Disappointed, I'm sure, with that decision, but it is not a fifth try, and it is not a first try. The stoop for Tim Visser this evening. Just out wide. Olivier tries to push his way up towards the edge of the 22 where Harlequins tackle well. Baldwin. Saliba. Malifanga loses the ball again. Has to be tidied up by Shilcock. He's well tackled by Tim Sweel. Slightly desperate down in that bottom corner from Worcester Warriors.
Use it! Okay, you lot relax.
Waits and eventually gets it down in a touch. Mike Brown thought about taking the quick one to Tim Visser. Thought better of it. Still thinking about taking a quick one.
Happy? Good.
Only taken Stanley. With a lot of pressure on him from Olivier there. Needed support and it came flying in from Lambert. Dave Ward jinks his way up towards the halfway line as Quins look to finish on a high. Danny Kerr, Sweel, missed pass out wide to Joe Gray. Has a good turn of pace on him, the hooker. Gray checks back inside. Robshaw's in support along with Jones. Up to that 10-metre line. Sweel again with a flat pass to Dave Ward. When the ball goes dead, it will be the end of the game. Harlequins looking to finish on that high note. Mike Brown sets it back. Danny Kerr offloads to Luamanu, whips it out wide to Chisholm. Chisholm checks back inside against Dowson. Missed tackle, feeds it back to Alofa has the ball from Tim Visser. Visser is tackled just short of the line, but carries on to score. He has his score now, and Harlequins will finish on a high. It is the icing on the cake from what has been a mightily impressive second half performance from Quins. Tim Visser, who scored in the very impressive win against Saracens here last month, goes over and scores a 5th try for Harlequins this afternoon. Alofa with the break and unselfishly feeding the ball into the path of Visser, who managed to wriggle free from Benteo's tackle and then force himself over the line. 5 tries to Harlequins, with the conversion still to come from Sweel. They lead by 20. Well, Sweel's kicking so far this season has been very impressive indeed. 82%, that's now 15 successful attempts from Sweel, which wraps up the victory. Harlequins 36, Worcester 14, the final score. It was some mighty impressive tries and a great second half performance. It all got set on its way by Harlequins with Danny Kerr after just 4 minutes. But then tries came in from James Horwell, Mike Brown, Joe Marchant and Tim Visser right on the final whistle. Jackson Willison and Benteo scored replies for Worcester, but they were outclassed in this second half, and it is Quins who take away maximum points from the Stoop.
Let's just check that.